ओके, तो लास्ट वीडियो में हमने देखा था कि अगर हमारे पास एक फॉरेन की है तो हम कैसे उसको यूज़ करते हैं, बाकी कंस्ट्रेंट्स जो है। बट अगर आपको याद है हमारे लास्ट एग्जाम्पल में हम देखे थे कि अगर कोई वैल्यू हमारे पेरेंट टेबल में है जिसका फॉरेन की हमने चाइल्ड टेबल में डाला हुआ है, it sometimes does not accept values or if you have changes that might lead to some problems. So how can we do that? Let's say मैं मेरे पेरेंट टेबल में कोई वैल्यू अपडेट करता हूँ, मेरे चाइल्ड टेबल में वो सेम वैल्यूज अपडेट कैसे होंगे? तो उसके लिए हम एक चीज यूज करते हैं जिसको कहते हैं कैस्केड। कैस्केड इज बेसिकली समथिंग दैट मेक श्योर कि अगर ऊपर चेंज होता है ऊपर के लेवल में तो नीचे के लेवल्स तक भी वो चेंज पास ऑन हो जाता है। तो फॉर अस वी आर गोइंग टू यूज टू टाइप्स ऑफ कैस्केड्स, ऑन अपडेट कैस्केड and on delete cascade. So when we use on update cascade, if the parent table का जो column reference हो रहा है, the primary key of the parent table which is being referenced in my child table via foreign key, उसमें कोई changes हो तो मेरे child table में भी वो reflect होंगे। and on delete, अगर parent table में कोई deletion हो तो child table में भी वो deletion होंगे। So let's take an example. Let's take an example for this. Let's say that I have a particular table, a parent table. So let me create a parent table. So create table and let's call it student. And I have in that SID, which is my student ID, integer, primary key, comma, let's say I have date of joining. So, or just to keep it simple, let's say I have class. So class varchar 10 as my parent table. And now let's say I have a child table. So create table class where I have role as my integer primary key. I have, let's say, name, so s name, varchar 20, which is not null, and then I have the student ID which is being referenced from my student table. So SID integer. So now recall, how did we create a primary key? We created primary keys by writing after the last constraint foreign key. I beg your pardon, I think I said primary key earlier. So foreign key, what is the name of the foreign key? It is SID. So foreign key SID references the student table's SID. So references student SID. So this is how we created a primary key, as foreign key, sorry. How do we make sure that any updation or any deletion that takes place is also reflected here? Simple. After you write the references, the table name and the column from the parent table, all you need to write is on update cascade for updation, or you can write on delete cascade, whichever you choose. Or if you wish, you could also write both of them. And the way to do that is just write on update cascade followed by on delete cascade, or whichever order you prefer. Delete cascade. Close the brackets and put in a semicolon. So now any changes that take place in our student table is reflected in our child table as well. So let's look at this. Let's look at how we can make this work. So let's say that I try to change a particular value. So let's assume that my table student had an SID and SName, and let's say that the SID was 100, 101, 103, and the names were Bob, Alia, and Raj. So let's say I'm trying to insert some values into my child table, which is class, and let's say I have some existing values. For the role, I have, let's say, 20. For the name, let's say I have Bob. For the student ID which is being referred, Bob has 100, so let's say I have 100. And let's add in a couple of others. Let's say roll number 40, that's Raj, and the SID is 103. So let's say that I try to update some values in my student table. So how do I update the values? Well, to update the values, what do we use for updating the values? So think. Okay, so to update the values, we say update table name. So table name is student, so update student set SID equal 105, where SID is equal to 103, semicolon. So what happens now is it will come here to the student table and it will see, oh, where's 103 as my student ID? Here. So I'm going to update it to 105. So it changes 103 to 105. And once it does that, what happens is, since I said on update cascade while declaring my table, it comes to my class table and it checks where was 103 used. So 103 was used here. So it changes that 103 to a 105. If I did not use on update cascade and on delete cascade over here, then it would simply have left this as 103. So it's a good idea to use on update and on delete cascade to ensure that the values are being preserved and are properly used when across multiple tables. So this was cascades.